Welcome back to Fox 9 all day on this Monday. Rob Olson in for Amy Hockert, and I am happy to be here as we kick off a new segment on All Day, a segment to be named later. Maybe Amy will come up with something, I don't know. But we will an occasional series here showcasing a slice of each of Minnesota's 87 counties. So if you think of a good name for that, let us know. We're open to suggestions. Today, though, we're starting this off by heading to Chisago County, northeast of the metro, home to what is known as America's Little Sweden, the city of Lindstrom, Minnesota, which proudly celebrates Swedish heritage and, one of its early settlers and one of the most recognizable things here, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I got a little caught up in Swedish heritage. It's a coffee pot water tower. You can't miss it. And it's new and improved, too. I mean, there's some improvements. Lindstrom's Mayor Judy, I hope I say this correctly, Chartrand?
Indeed, yes.
Okay, which sounds French, not Swedish, I just got to say.
Well, I'm an Anderson by birth. So
there you go. Thank you for clarifying that. S-O-N or S-E-N?
S-O-N.
Yeah. See, and I'm an S-O-N, but it's Norwegian, and people always argue and say, no, that's Swedish. I'm like, well, I know that my ancestors came from Norway, so I don't know what to tell you. Anyway.
Scandinavian. How's that?
Scandinavian is what my dad always says. Thanks for joining us today as we kick off this highlighting a slice of Minnesota's counties. And we want to start with this water tower that is shaped like a coffee pot. Cafe Kana Park, very famous and recently been upgraded or renovated, I guess you want to call it. How did Lindstrom begin by having this water tower that looks like a coffee pot or teapot? I guess I don't know. I just assumed it was coffee pot.
It's a coffee pot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we needed a new water tower. 1992. We were going to tear down this water tower, and a woman who was a CEO, business owner in town said, "Hey, I've got a new idea," and she's the one who had the idea to turn it into a Swedish coffee pot. It was her design. She paid for it, and she really brought it to life. So we ended up with a Swedish coffee pot back, and it's steamed, back in the 90s. So when the King and Queen of Sweden visited here in 1996, we had steam in our coffee pot. So that was a very exciting event, and then over the years, the steam kind of disappeared, right?
Things happen, yeah.
But the coffee pot is still there. If you come through Lindstrom, you can't miss it. It's the only thing 100 feet tall in the entire town.
You can't miss it, but didn't the steam now return?
It did, yes. So, and it's a great story because we had some people in the community just a couple of years ago say, let's bring the steam back. And my reaction was, okay, but, I wasn't, what do you make of that? And it was Lee Donlan, it was the Chisago Lakes Ambassador Girls, and they really took it as a passion project, and the community got behind it. Hundreds of people gave. We had little boxes, donation boxes uptown. People would give $1, $5, $100. It did take some larger donors, and we were able to do this 100% donated by the community. And so we dedicated the steaming coffee pot on June 21st of this year.
And it goes during a portion of the, midday through the summer months, or what is the... If people want to, if they're driving in and I'm like, I don't see the steam, I mean, when can they catch it?
Right, great question. Fika. So fika would be coffee time for the Swedes. That's 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So it steams for a good solid 5 minutes during those times. When we have summer events, we'll do it a little bit more frequently. It is weather dependent, so we just closed it down, but it'll be back as soon as the temperatures get up above freezing in the late spring.
Okay, let's talk history of Lindstrom. I lived for a time in my childhood in Decorah, Iowa, which is this Norwegian settlement. I mean, with the Norwegian American museums there. But Lindstrom was settled by Swedish immigrants. Again, as you said, Scandinavians everywhere. How did the Swedish settlers wind up in that spot?
Yeah, so there was a young man, kind of an adventurous young man who'd helped with the mapping and cartography around here. And he was Swedish, and he ended up settling and spending a winter here. And he wrote to people. He wrote to people in Illinois who were Swedish. He wrote to people back home. And they came, a group of settlers came here to the city of Lindstrom, Center City. At that time, it was called the Chisago Lake area. And so that's how they got here. I recently read a census of when the town was incorporated in 1894. It was 15 Swedish people, a Norwegian, and another person. And literally, that's what the history said.
Another person. They weren't Scandinavian, so we just didn't say where they were from.
Yes, not.
Apparently. And what I think is great about Lindstrom is that you've retained the umlaut over the O. Very, very great on the heritage, and you know, for the non-Swedes or non-Scandinavians, like how. But I mean that. How is that sustained, that you managed to keep a hold of that, and somebody along the line didn't go, you know, we don't have the typeface for that, let's just get rid of it?
Well, we did have that happen, and MnDOT said we don't have O's in our lettering.
You mean O's with umlauts on them?
Right,
Yeah.
O's with umlauts did not exist, so they were going to take it off, and we protested, and at the time it was Governor Dayton. And Governor Dayton said, would you please just put the dots back on, or I'm going to go up there and paint them on myself. So that's how we got the umlauts back.
I didn't realize they'd left. I was just wondering, you know, I just think it's great that they've been managed to be maintained there, knowing that that would be an issue, because that is very important to the heritage here. What else, you know, when people, I've been there a number of times for work reasons, haven't been able to spend much time there non-work related, but you see a lot of the Swedish heritage reflected there. What else, if people want to come to spend an afternoon up there, where would you send them, and how would they get a good flavor?
So right in the downtown area, when they're looking at the coffee pot, we recently were given a 12-foot, 7,000-pound dollar horse. So we now have that, which is wonderful for taking a selfie. We also have a 60-foot mural in front of the bakery, which talks, it was created using feedback from the community. What makes Lindstrom Lindstrom? So you'll see a lot of scenery there. There's lakes any which way you go. Essentially, we're a peninsula, so they can walk 1 block to the north, 1 block to the south, and see the lakes. And then there's also the Karl Oskar House, which is the story that was written by a very famous Swedish author, and that was kind of the, he would be equivalent of John Steinbeck here in the U.S. Required reading, 20% of the population emigrated, and he set the story here. So we have recreated the characters, Karl Oskar and Christina. We've recreated the house here based on true immigrant stories.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
That's a wonderful day trip.
Yeah, well, another story set there, if I remember this right, the last season of Fargo, the TV series based on the film, was set in Lindstrom. Nothing was filmed there, but it was set in Lindstrom, wasn't it?
I must say I don't know. I lived out of town for a few years. So
oh yeah, I think that was just earlier this year I watched that, Lindstrom, because it's got such a great name. All right, well, thanks for joining us today to kick off this occasional series highlighting Minnesota's 87 counties, and again, Mayor Chartrand, but again, maiden name Anderson.
Anderson, thank
Perfect.
you.
Thanks so much.
It's an honor to be your first guest.
Yeah, well, we need a name for this segment. I don't know. If you think of anything, let us know. All right, have a good one.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that